welcome, my beautiful people. You are here tuned in to episode 3 of High Noon Crypto. Hopefully, you've enjoyed what I've presented to you so far, but I really think that now that we kind of got the introductions and the small stuff out the way in the first previous 2 episodes, I can get into the real meat and potatoes, to speak on the things that are happening on a day-to-day basis in this crypto game. And that's really why I wanted to make this channel, because that's what I wanted to speak on. I wanted to speak on the real. I didn't want to speak on the fake. So now here we are. We're starting to get to the real stuff. So first thing I want to do, if you don't recognize the thumbnail, it is a scene from the movie Get Rich or Die Trying, which was loosely based off of 50 Cent's life. So it's like a semi biopic, I guess you could say. But in that particular scene, that's the first time they cooking crack. And he pulls the crack out the water and he says, "This is what's going to take us out the hood." Now, I'm not advocating drug use. I'm not even trying to glorify it. I just thought it was a very apt image to put, because I really think, I don't even think at this point, I know Pulsechain is going to take us out of the bear market. The crypto heartbeat, he always says, that Pulsechain will make the bottom. And I think it will as well, just because everything is going on. We really have a perfect storm here. Like, our Pulsechain has been exciting since day one, since I actually first learned what it was. As I said before, I sacrificed for it and then I learned about it. But sometimes you just got to close your eyes and take a leap of faith, and thank God I did. So, what is this perfect storm I'm talking about? Well, if you've been paying attention to any crypto news the last couple of weeks, we have Celsius being, to quote Richard Hart, middleman scum. Just blatant theft of your money. Picking up pennies in front of freight trains, as he likes to say. Their deposits have been frozen. Not deposit, withdrawals, swaps, transfers. They've frozen all their funds for people to get their money out for like 2 weeks now. But you can still put money in there. So if you put money in this Celsius right now, hey man, I can't help you. Nobody can help you if you're doing that. But still, middleman, not your keys, not your coins. So you have that whole debacle. Risk of them getting liquidated, them being overextended, and just the contagion. Maybe a lot of y'all didn't know that word, but it's starting to pop up a lot. And it was a very popular word back in 0809 during the global financial crisis, contagion. Just like any zombie movie or anything, it spreads and it affects a large percentage of everything rather quickly. And that's because all of these people, all of these crypto, quote unquote, crypto lending platforms, because, that's like an oxymoron. How can you be a middleman in crypto when that's what crypto was made for? To eliminate middleman. So it is an oxymoron. But you think that these people would have learned from 0809, but that's the problem when everybody has short term memory and the money is flowing like it has been flowing. A lot of people Icarus themselves. They fly too close to the sun, they get wrecked. And unfortunately, a lot of people go down when these things go down. So we got Celsius. That's just the first one, right? Then you got them boys over at Three Arrows Capital. Now, their story seems to be a little bit more interesting because, one, they caught the collateral bullet from Luna, which is the another part of this perfect storm triangle. But they were in the midst of a lot of people. They did a lot of dealings with a lot of people. I seen Richard Hart. He tweeted it. Wells Only. He talked about it. Just all the different quote unquote crypto companies that were exposed because of what's happening at Three Arrows. So all these people, they're building all these. They're using each other's platforms. They're overextended everywhere. And of course, all it takes is one domino to fall, and the rest of them start falling. So you have this whole cluster of a mess. Just so many people taken down, so much money lost, so many people getting wrecked, getting destroyed, getting obliterated. It is happening, and it's happening in real time. And there's nothing you do about it because there ain't no bailouts in the crypto. You know, the powers that be want this stuff to crash and burn. So there ain't gonna be no bailouts. There's gonna just be people getting wrecked, just like there is. It seems apparently every cycle. I just got into crypto in 2020, but Fortunately, I like to do just a modicum amount of research, and I saw that what happened in 2017 with the ICO phases and stuff like that. Same thing, different day. Wash and repeat. 4 years later, new suckers come into the market. They get taken advantage of, and then they swear off of crypto, or they learn from it and they get better and they get ridiculously rich the next cycle. So Celsius, Three Arrows Capital, Terra Luna. I mean that horse has been beaten to death, but that allow us to get a few hits in. You don't think that they taken a lot of people down with them? They did. They had a lot of money get lost. A lot of people had money in there trying to get pennies in front of freight trains. Just a little bit of interest off their money. On Hex.com, trustless, immutable, you know, it's paying. And I guess if you want to argue the semantic points of, well, this pays you in USD, so you're getting 8%, and Hex pays you in Hex, and Hex is down right now. Okay, all right. Well, which one would you rather have today? Would you rather have Hex earning Hex or UST earning, some stable coin? Well, I can tell you this right now. You can't earn no percent of no money because that's what UST and Luna is worth. It's worth nothing. So you're earning nothing. So congratulations, you played yourself. But like I said, I wasn't here to beat a dead horse, but had to get a couple hits in. So now we have three pretty big companies as far as money and capital in it, and they're about to go to zero. And then you have all the other companies who have money into these platforms that had, and even these companies have money in other platforms. So now you run the risk of a total implosion similar to 08, 09, and it's going to be bad. I mean, I think they said that Binance bought like maybe $2 billion worth of Bitcoin to try to stabilize the price. Think about that. You had to have other people because it's so bad, and they know how wrecked the market was going to get, that they had to try to come in and bail them out. You have FTX that I want to say was talking about lending money to try to bail folks out. Folks are trying to borrow credit to help stabilize. It's just bad all the way around. But with disaster comes new opportunities. And usually that's how these things happen. And that's where Pulsechain is going to step in. Because what way to bounce back other than a new revolutionary kind of blockchain? What new way to wipe all the pieces off the board and say, hey, even though we just got totally destroyed on this, we can clear the chessboard, put the pieces back on there, and start anew with Pulsechain. And that's exactly what's going to happen, in my honest opinion. So, what's going to lend any kind of credence to Pulsechain being the solution to reset this market? Well, I think as we see in real time, as Richard Hart is taking his victory laps, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to take notice. They're going to pay attention. They're going to pay real attention. They're not going to pay like, oh yeah, okay, you said Bitcoin top. They're going to be like, yo, he's doing this. He's doing it in real time, and he has the receipts to prove it. Maybe this guy is more than what we've been trying to paint him as. Now, don't get me wrong. There's still going to be the people who believe this in their heart of heart, but ego is such a fragile thing that they're not going to admit it, at least not publicly. These people are going to be sacrificed for Pulsechain, for PulseX. They have bags of Hex, and they're still going to get on the Twitters and call Richard Hart a scam and Hex is the stupidest idea and stuff like that. Because that's just how people are. Most of them are miserable, and they won't give Richard the credit. And to our benefit, he wants the credit, and he's going to just keep on going harder and harder until they bend the knee. So we're going to keep on indirectly benefiting because of the haters. So yeah, y'all haters actually just keep it up. Kick it into overtime, so we can keep on winning as hard as we're going to win over here. But Pulsechain, it has a couple things that's really going for it. Now, of course, everybody who's been paying attention knows about the system state, the 4 times the throughput, all the coins, the free airdrops, and all that stuff is good. But let's talk about the things that don't get talked about. I guess if this was a football player, they would say these are the intangibles or whatnot, like the things that you can't measure. You can measure height, weight, 40 time, but you can't measure the leadership quality. You can't measure those things. So let's talk about some of the Pulsechain intangibles. One, Pulsechain is going to suffer from what I call new girl syndrome. Now, if you watch any old movie or if you can think back to the time where you were in school, the most popular girl always kind of beefs when there is a quote unquote new girl who comes to the school, right? It's a movie trope that's old as hell, but it also has a lot of validity. People just like new things. People like new toys. That's why you get these new movies of the same movies because people just like new movies. They just released another Top Gun, which is a new movie of an older movie, like a really old movie, too. So, yeah, you have the nostalgia effect, but people just like new things. That's just what is ingrained in us. We don't like old things. We like new classic cars. So if you see somebody with a old school, like let's just say like a '64 Chevy or something, but it's painted new, it's look like it's been refurbished and remodeled, and it looks new to today's standard, people will be like, "Man, that's a nice car. That's a nice new car." So Pulsechain is that nice new thing, and people are just gonna like it just off the strength of that. So you have that going for you. Then you have the fact that Ethereum fees are low right now. Now I want y'all to think about that. You're probably like, how does Ethereum gas fees being low right now make you think that Pulsechain is going to set the bottom and going to take us out of this bear market? Well, you got to think about it in this way, people. Folks are not really in crypto right now. It's a scary time to be in crypto. So you don't have high gas fees. You have low gas fees, right? Because the blocks are not being filled, and things of that nature. So folks are going to have kind of forget about when ETH was bad or whatnot. They're going to forget about it. They're going to be like, oh, ETH is now usable again. It's fun. And then they're going to be caught off guard. They're going to be blindsided. Like if you've ever played football, somebody crackbacks you and you don't know it's coming. When Pulsechain comes out and crypto becomes fun and exciting again because there's going to be something new to talk about. And people are going to forget about it. They're going to forget that it was $300 to make a Uniswap transaction, a Uniswap swap. It was $100 to send ETH from one wallet to another just in gas fees. They've forgotten about those terrible dark ages, but they're going to be reminded about them pretty quick as soon as the excitement comes back to crypto. And then what? Then it's going to be like, oh yeah, I can't believe we ever missed this sorry crap. Bam. That's exactly another thing that's going to be pointed in Pulsechain's direction. And it's going to be brilliant because it's an unintended consequence. We thought Pulsechain was going to launch a long time ago when ETH fees were bad and it was fresh on everybody's mind. There's nothing better than getting a unfriendly reminder of how bad something sucks until you're back in the suck and you're like, man, this actually sucks. I remember the first time I had a deployment when I was in the military. I remember everybody used to talk about it, and it's like, yeah, it's gonna suck. You're gonna work 6, 7 days a week, at least 12-hour shifts. I was like, oh, it can't be that bad. And I got there and it sucked, and I was like, man, this actually does suck. Like they working the hell out of us. I was a young airman. I wasn't making no money. I was like, bro, this really sucks. Then I came back home, didn't deploy for a while, and I was like, man, I miss it, man. You start thinking about like, it wasn't that bad. I got in good shape. I met new people and stuff. Then I deployed again. I was like, yeah, this really do suck. I'd much rather be at home. I'd rather be at my home station, chilling in my house, not using communal showers and communal toilets that people don't like flushing and stuff like that. So that's going to be a big one for us, and it's going to be an unintended side effect, but it will be one, at least in my opinion, that's going to go into our favor. So, speaking of things that are going to continue going into Pulsechain's favor, let's talk about the last one that I have just for today's episode because I could really probably make this an hour or 2 hour long episode, but let's not do that. I truly, in my heart of heart, believe that the delay of Pulsechain launch will be its greatest strength as far as setting the bear market. Now, bear with me here for a second. Please don't get ahead of me, and let's just be, try to be reasonable. Let's not be unreasonable here. Now, of course, you're probably like, man, delay after delay. I'm tired of this. 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks, 4 more weeks, 2 more months. Rich Hart plan. I need this money. I was expecting 1,000x by now. I get it. I get it. I truly do. I definitely thought that I'd be rich as hell right now off of Pulsechain success. But think about all the things we've missed. The steep cliff that has happened because of the whole world falling apart. we're right now not at a loss on our post chain, which is amazing to say because literally everything is down 70, 80, 90%. So that money you put in there, put $100 in there, it's still worth $100. May not feel like it because you don't have it, but it is. So it's still holding its value. But think about if Post Chain would have been out, and then the whole thing with Celsius and Three Arrows and Terra Luna happened. We see that when markets are unstable, there is a huge run on, I guess you could say banks. We see it in the stock markets and stuff right now too. They've lost a lot of money, but yet everybody want to make fun of crypto. I think last time I saw, stock market was down like $8 or $9 trillion from its highs because of global, crisis and things of that nature. So we don't have that. We don't have that sell pressure on post chain, which is huge because these large sacrificers, you best believe that some of them are entities. They're not people. You best believe that some of them are Three Arrows Capital. Some of them are Celsius. Some of them are Crypto.com. Some of them are Coinbase because these folks are not stupid. They're haters. They don't like Richard Hart, but they're not going to be, that's not going to stop them from potentially making crazy money. Because if you did, that's people get fired for that. Like if you work at a company, you can't be like, I don't like the guy, so we didn't invest in his new blockchain. They look at the same things we look at. They see that layer ones usually do pretty good. They get their ass fired for that. So what happens when Post Chain comes out and Three Arrows Capital has been liquidated down to zero because of bad money management, bad risk management? Celsius has still got people's withdrawals and transfers, frozen. And Terra Luna is still, they're on their fifth fork. Well, they've already, went through the worst of the worst. They won't need to sell at that point. Now they probably still will because they probably be getting sued and things of that nature, but it won't be a cascading event. A lot of people who have been through this already and absorbed the initial shock, the initial first wave of, all the cryptos falling off a cliff. It's like, well, we're kind of here now, like, and we're not dead, so nothing else really to do but hold. So during the times when the markets are just falling off of cliffs, people are going to go sell. But if the market's already fell off a cliff and you're already at the bottom, and then you're like, oh man, I forgot I had this in my pocket the whole time. You're not gonna like, well, I guess I throw it away now. You're already at the bottom of the cliff, and now you're starting to work your way back up. So you're like, well, I might need this again in the future. And that's kind of the analogy I think of. Um, I spoke on it in episode 2. If you're already down 90%, what good does it do for you to sell down 90%? Unless you like really need the money. And there will be people when Pulse Chain comes out that need the money, but most people are like, well, I'm surviving right now. Down across the board in stocks, crypto, everything. If you're an investor, well, no need to sell this. It might actually be the one thing to go up. I think you're going to see a lot of people with that mindset. And I think you're going to see the chart bringing excitement back to crypto and the number doing really well. And I think that with the delay, we're going to get a better product because obviously they found some things that they didn't like. And there's nothing wrong with that. I want people to realize there's nothing wrong with finding the errors before you turn in the test. That's literally what you should be doing. You should, if you think back to when you were in school, you should double check your work before you turn it in. Make sure that you didn't miss no steps. And so, because they're putting so much time and effort into making sure they give us a product that is actually capable of ending the crypto drought that's happening, the great crypto drought, and ending this bear market, is going to have some great consequences. It's going to have some great things that's going to go our way. And when we look back on this in a few years, we're going to be like, man, I'm really glad that we had to delay it. Because if we'd have launched in January, you would see a mass sell off of this too, just like you see a mass sell off of ETH and everything. And then it's going to be, well, I'm down on everything 90% instead of just down on, one or two things. So just, just stay calm and let this do what it's supposed to do. So, but that's all I got for y'all today. Just a quick ramble on why Post Chain will set the bottom and it's going to be up and to the right from here. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you tune in for the next episode. Hopefully you follow me on Twitter. Hopefully you like. Hopefully you subscribe. And hopefully you have a great day. Holla at your boy. I am out.